who tossed her head at her reflection in shop windows, who wasn't afraid to let twilight through the shutters past January, who punched up the pillow, fell asleep in 2 minutes, woke, stretched, dressed in short skirts and long stilettos, and didn't eat too much or sleep with the fire, who strolled sidewalks without searching faces, hummed a tune as shadows lengthened, laughed like a child, ate potato chips in bed, who was always so sure the taxi would arrive on time, who spoke bad French, left huge tips, didn't count change, went without underwear, dated much younger men, and walked out of bad movies without giving them 5 more minutes, who chopped her hair short and didn't think, oh, what have I done? Who was outrageous, who strode through a doorway and paused as though everyone in the room had been waiting hours for her.
The uncomfortable woman, running her fingers through the material of her clothes, the tug at your arm followed by the intimacy of fingers in your skin, tracing the stitch along the sleeve, like his wife did when she wanted him to stop thinking about work. Would there be a common tongue between them if this shirt were to fill out with the soul of its owner, having crossed an ocean to once again feel the comfort of the threadbare fabric? Would it take offense at how useless the garment was in a country of people 3 sizes too small for its proportions? Or would they reach an understanding with a translation for swaddling clothes, made from the sewn together pieces of bright yellow cotton lining a crib that has not yet been bought? The first pours tea from a kettle that's been hot all day, and to the cup of the other who does quick arithmetic with a pencil, counting the money spent on one column, and I be doodling in the margin the figures that are the promise to come. Dusk sets around the warehouse where they sit cross-legged and begin to talk with plans and big things. And then the first remembers what came in that day's load and darts out to show the other, who's still thinking of the numbers and how much a condominium with a baby nursery would cost. And the first returns wearing a large, bright yellow cotton shirt, big enough to be a flag, tattered and emblazoned with a depiction of an animal smiling 2 large, grotesque teeth. And as he waves it, he laughs. His friend laughs, both smiling and laughing the Wolof word for giant. For who else could wear this shirt into which the 2 of them would fit, and maybe a neighbor as well? And the one on the ground has to choke a bit on the dust and the fine fibers littering the air. Settling himself with a long sip, he lips the words to himself. University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. He allows himself to wonder who this man is or was, who so loved this shirt that he wore the cotton thin in places, who studied something at this university, who maybe also kept a little notebook into which went figures that were an accounting of his future. Holding the shirt up between his face and the soul dangling bulb in the room, he tries to reconstruct the foreigner, this large man, this possible person, this man who was not careful when he ate and left stains in the material that never washed off, tomato sauce, Coca-Cola, wine, and other stains too, the green blood of grass from laying in the sun, a long afternoon maybe spent with a book, a cigarette, waiting for a woman, the one who absently left the burnt orange lipstick near the collar.
The flower. Inside the plastic flower lies a piece of dust. Dust immune to busy hands that clean and wipe and dry. A solitary note speaks to no one. Inside the plastic flower, little flies cannot alight. The room's motion cannot penetrate. No one asks why or wherefore. If the plastic flower dies, limp and folded over in the night, will the dust arise to free itself in flight? No one asks. No one cares for dust. This is for my book Thoughts. Darcy, you can have it here if you want to get it. I'm also up for trades if anybody has a book they want to trade. This is called, actually I want to preface this with, when I first started teaching, it was at It was for the New York City Ballet Education Department Poetry Project. So it's a mouthful. In New York City, and after that I found this child who was an extremely gifted poet, and he was 8 or 9 years old. And I would go to his apartment in Brooklyn and mentor him.
Herod issued orders and killed all the male children in 2 years and under in Bethlehem and the surrounding district. Then Jeremiah's prophecy was fulfilled. A voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation, weeping, and great mourning. Rachel weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted because they were no more. This is the Gospel of Matthew. Now, I need to reach in down to my gullet, pull out my soul, lay it on the earth black and cold, and rub my daggers together to sharpen them. Bring me the babies. Don't rush. One at a time. You'll get me through. Slice the necks and let the blood run down to the earth. Bring that little one to me. I will quiet it. A quick cut and take it away. You, woman, stop your wailing, or I will send you down to the ground yourself. 1, 5, 25, 50, 100. Too many to count. My work is done. My day is over. Now where did I lay my soul? There it is, black on the ground mixed with blood. What did I want it for? Thrust the blade in the ground, in the blood, in the blackness, the heart of the earth.
Hey, you there, man with no shoes, crossing the road in the middle of the street, trying to decide who let you through this long line of cars, hopping in place, foot to foot, your head swivels like a big belly bird. Better think fast and should have thought twice before buying that candy, or was it a condom, at the new mini mart they built on the corner. Come on, mister, you better hurry. There's a guy driving a hybrid, swerving in lanes, and he's got you on his GPS. Excuse me, sir, but you've got to choose. The light will turn green in less than a minute. Come on now, which car will it be? Let's make a deal. If you choose me, I'll write you a poem.
And I'm about to use a fork to stab a piece of kung pao chicken in my mouth when I pause. You see, growing up in Kansas, Asian faces were about as rare as honesty in Congress. And growing up, his parents had taught him that the difference between right and wrong was the difference between white and Wong. And so I put down my fork and I asked him if he really wants to hear this. And he says he does. So I reached into the societal expectations that I've been carrying on my back for 19 years and pulled every insult, every racial slur, every push, and every gun pulled in my face for claiming heritage from a country that I've never set foot in. To some, the idea that there is racism towards Asians in America is as foreign as the English language upon my grandparents' tongue. Because growing up, I would meet bullies who wandered through the china shop, my insecurity, shattering my glass ego and my sense of self. At the age of 5, they made fun of my eyes for being so small. At the age of 10, I closed them to avoid looking at the bruises. By the age of 12, I built a great wall between me and everything I loved, locked it in a forbidden city that I'm still trying to break into today. You see, the problem with growing up Asian in America is that there's a dash separating your cultural heritage from your American one. And the dash between the words Asian and America that make up your identity might as well be the 6,438 miles it took your parents to travel from China to America. They say that home is where the heart is, but when your home is as broken as your heart, and people to tell you to go back home where you actually belong, where are you supposed to turn? When we were born, we inherited the luggage our parents carried with them from Ellis Island, one bag containing our parents' hopes that their sacrifice in giving up everything and moving to another country would be worth it, the other containing the knowledge that their children would always be looked at with narrowed eyes for the rest of their lives, but if it meant their children having a better chance at success than they did, then so be it. So at lunchtime, when they asked me if I was good at math, whether my parents were shopkeepers or laundry workers, or if I could show them kung fu, I kept my head down and wished I was as white as the rice I was eating. See, after being the captain of my high school speech and debate team, winning 16 public speaking awards and 3 state championships, 2 international writing awards, I still get asked if I know how to speak English. Because growing up Asian in America, English may have been my first language, Mandarin and Cantonese my my second and third, but acceptance is still a language that is foreign to me. When figure skater Michelle Kwan came in second in the 1998 Olympics to Tara Lipinski, never mind the fact that MSNBC reported that America beat out Michelle Kwan, disregarding the fact that Michelle Kwan wore an American flag over her heart. When the first Asian American congressman was elected to Congress, Congressman David Wu had a citizenship question and was denied entry into the Department of Energy, even after showing his ID. When Jeremy Lin got his jump start with the Houston Rockets, ESPN called him the chink in the armor, while Madison Square Garden superimposed a picture of his face on the fortune cookie with the words, "The Knicks' good fortune." Because the fact of the matter is that America has tried to break Asians in America like a fortune cookie to look for the validation that inside we are so much less than they are. We were told that we were aberrations, abominations, only good for examinations, lacking sophistication and determination, opportunities that never seem to begin, but problems that always seem to start with us being Asian. See, because no matter how many MT references I bring up, how many Jello shots I shoot down, like an extra tight V-neck t-shirt, being someone I am not has never really fit me. Because I am so much more than what America thinks I'm supposed to be. So much more than a Panda Express. So maybe it's time to start thinking outside the box. And after 19 years of discrimination, I want to finally say that I am proud of being Asian. Because growing up Asian in America, we were given so many opportunities that our parents had not. Because in a forest of sycamores, I will stand like a bamboo tree, tall and proud of my roots. Because the silk road of history runs through my veins, curved emblems through my smile, and a Chinese character I wear not as a tattoo, but in my heart. Like the click of chopsticks against China, like the cadence of kung fu kicks, like a cacophony of Chinese fireworks. Discrimination will always make up the baseline for the soundtrack of my life. But ignore it. Because sometimes the quietest act of courage is keeping your chin up. Because my name is Brian. And I am proud to be an Asian in America. I like elevators. They're expensive, break easily, but on occasion, they can lift you up. First time I got a laugh, I was 5 years old. Somebody asked me, "How did your parents raise you to do so well?" I told them the truth. "Beats me," I said. And they laughed and laughed as my hand covered my bruises. As a comedian, you are the artist drawing out the laughter from the lungs of people, the doctor giving them the best medicine, the dancer showing them how to move their belly. As comedians, we are expected to turn our sadness into sitcoms, our misfortunes into memoirs, and our tragedies into 2-hour HBO specials. If it made you laugh, then we were okay. You see, growing up, I was never sure I was expected, so I was always dejected, feeling rejected, something I was expected. But I found that if I could just make them laugh, I might be accepted. So growing up, I collected laughter like stamps of approval, hoping to one day address an envelope with my name on it, postmarked for fame. You see, in the neighborhood where I grew up, kids would be stuck on this merry-go-round between prison, rehab, and drugs. And I saw comedy as my exit sign and laughter as my way out. You see, comedy is like seeing the world through a pair of glasses with a fake mustache, because everything looks funny. And in a world where everything was so out of sync, it's so nice to see everybody's bellies moving in sync up and down. Because if I ever told you a joke that made you laugh, I was happy that just for a moment, I worked at enough weight so I could lift yours off your shoulder for just a second. But if I ever offended you with a joke, I'm sorry. Because in a world where the words we use are bullets in our arsenal, we only get one shot at what we want to say. Whenever a joke doesn't turn out the way I want it to, I feel like an earthquake and everything is my fault, and when people get offended, I want to apologize. Tell them what my mother said to my father the day I was born. Sorry, that came out wrong. So when I tell the joke about how a bird walks across the street and is fine for jaywalking, I take in the laughter and let the applause hold me for just a moment. Because no one else will.
Come on, page on, and then I'll just go right into It's not a light-hearted thing. Resents its own resilience. Falling is what it loves. And the earth falls, so in our hearts from brilliance, settles and it's throughout. It takes a sky blue juggler with 5 red balls to shake our gravity up. We in the air, the balls roll round. Wheel on his wheeling cans, learning the ways of lightness, altars, spheres, raising his finger ends. Cling to their courses there, swinging a small heaven about his ear. But a heaven is easier made of nothing at all than the earth regained, and still and soul within the spin of worlds, with a gesture sure and noble, he reels that heaven in, landing all by all, and trades it all for a broom, a plate, a table. Oh, on his toe the table is turning, the broom's balancing up on his nose, and the plate whirls on the tip of the broom. Damn, what a show, we cried. The boys stamp, and the girls shriek, and the drum booms, and all come down, and he bows and says goodbye. If the juggler is tired now, if the broom stands in the dust again, if the table starts to drop through the daily dark again, and though the plate lies flat on the tabletop, for him to do back of our hands, who has won for once